What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Narco Cop MMA. This is the Lambo Plays podcast, episode number 12. We're back for some more fun. I have my co-host coming in right here, hot, looking swell, looking like he's going to hit some Lambos today. And look at this guy. How you doing, Tajik?
Great to be here again, Mike. Thank you. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Awesome, brother. Thank you for being here like usual, taking the time and being my co-host here to a great show. And thank you for that intro video that you sent me, because that was all Tajik, guys.
Yeah, I hope everybody also who watched it enjoyed it. I think this show deserves a great intro, and I think we did a good job.
Thanks, brother. Thank you. All right. Are you excited for this card or what?
I'm fired up.
do you have some yacht plays?
I have a couple of draws. Yes. If that's
okay. I like it. I
joke, but
I joke. All right. Let's get in our other guest here. It's none other than Tim. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, thank you for joining us. How's everything going?
Awesome. Can't wait to break down this card.
Are you ready to give these people your Lambo long shots?
Absolutely. Let's do this.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, let me just go to chat real quick, see who we have over here. This guy's calling me his hero. Thank you, Joey Bag of Donuts. Daz is always in the house. Thank you, Daz. You're the man. Whoa, flashy intro. You like it. Thank you. Black Bet. Yes, brother. Yes, I put the music for you, Black. And, of course, my wife is in the chat. She's upstairs with the kids and in the chat. George, what's up, bro? Great Tron style Lambo promo. I like it. Thank you. I'm glad you guys like it. It's awesome. Again, it's from Tajik. But with that being said, let us start off with this card. There's 13 fights. There's a lot to go through. So we will start off with fight number 1. It's Malcolm Gordon going up against Danis Bandar. Let's go to you, Tajik. What do you think? What kind of Lambo play you got for us here?
Yeah, it's an interesting matchup because Bondar is making his debut, and there have been back-to-back cancellations. There have been some issues with him, making his debut. He's a very exciting fighter to watch. Although the strength of competition is something that have been talked about the entire week and beyond. But he's an exciting fighter. He has a freestyle wrestling base, so he's and his Muay Thai is actually pretty good. If you watch his clinches, his knees, I think, are pretty lethal. So I think he's a complete package. He just needs the Gordon caliber of a fighter, to showcase his skills, right? And so. So if there was like a Hall of Fame museum for the glass jaws, so maybe Gordon would have been a first inductee. But I speak with respect, right? I mean, I think his portfolio speaks for itself. So having said that, I think it's interesting. I think Bondar we're gonna look for finish, and he's gonna look for finish early. So I see that round 1 finish is very likely. And we know Bondar as a grappler, but I think primarily he would probably look either to KO, but I think the submission is possible here. That's why my Lambo play would be Bondar by submission in round 1 at plus 600 over at FanDuel.
I like it. Everything you said there was on point. Mr. Tim, what do you got for us here?
Absolutely, yeah. It's tough to find who's got a weaker chin between Witt and Gordon, but I've got to give it to Gordon in this one. Especially, I mean, he's getting knocked out by guys that are 125 pounds, like easily. I'm on the same thing. I'm on Bonder, bet Bonder big inside the distance, and there's a new prop system on FanDuel that I really like that they do KO combos and submission combos. So instead of having to search for round 1, 2, or 3, you can do submission 1, 2 or submission 2, 3. I like the round 1 prop for Bonder. It's a little low for our liking. It's not really even a scooter. It's like plus 240, so you can cover both bases on the KO or the submission early. But I like the KO actually, just talking about that chin and just, if something greasy happens in the first round, he'll get it in the second round. So go KO 1, 2, and you get plus 330 on FanDuel.
Solid. I like it. I like it. For me, full transparency, I like the under on this fight, under 2.5. I like Bonder inside the distance. I played both those plays, Bonder at plus 100. But for my Lambo play, I'm going to give you guys Malcolm Gordon, round 1 submission, plus 2,000. And here's my reasoning. My reasoning is that the way Bonder fights, he's extremely, extremely aggressive, extremely wild in the first round. Like you see it in all his fights. He goes for those takedowns like crazy. Like he's going after him nonstop. So he's chain wrestling, trying to get these takedowns. He gets them, and I believe he's going to get them here pretty easily against Gordon, who doesn't have like good takedown defense at all. The other thing you guys mentioned, I totally agree. He's very fragile, but I think he's going to have opportunities on the ground though. Because Gordon, I don't want to say his BJJ is very good, but he does have a submission game. And he's a black belt. I don't know where he got his black belt, but, he does have a submission game. He has a lot of submissions on in his wins. And Bonder has fought a very, very, very low level of opposition, guys. Like, I mean, looking at his record, I mean, the best guy he's fought is that guy, the 7-1 guy that lost 4 in a row after he lost to Bonder, and he had Bonder's back, and he was 19 years old, and he had Bonder's back for a long time. So basically, I don't want to keep going, but I just think plus through 2,000 for a guy that actually gets a lot of submissions against a guy that's green, right? We don't know much about Bonder's game. So I'm going to take a shot, man. Plus 2,000. I like Bonder to win this. But Gordon plus 2,000 round 1 is just one of those plays I had to do. Moving on, fight number 2. It is Jason Witt going up against Philip Rowe. We'll kick it off to you, Tim, since you just talked about this poor man. Go ahead. Spill the beans.
You know what? I just nothing that I can do but betting on Gordon or Witt with those chins. Those just how do you bet these guys? I understand a lot of people are on them. I just could never ever do it. I'm on. It's another one of those combos. If you go Rowe, I like the Rowe KO prop, but it's too light. KO 2 is plus 850. KO 3 is 1,500. Let's just say that Witt has a little success early and does, while he's fresh and gets him down in the first round. Also, Rowe tends to start a little bit slower. So I like both the 850 and the 1,500 on KO round 2, round 3. I also did bet the KO prop.
Yeah, I mean, I can't blame you whatsoever. We've seen Witt hurt a lot. We've seen Witt dropped with one punch, completely unconscious. So, yeah, I mean, I can't blame you on that play. For me, I'm going to go on the opposite side. I'm going to go with Witt round 3 plus 1,700. And I just think Witt is going to implement his wrestling here. Rowe takedown defense is very shaky. The one thing that Witt does do that's very good is his wrestling. And we saw it, just looking back at his Barberena fight, like he got 8 takedowns against the guy, for me, Barberena, who has a lot better takedown defense than Rowe does, is a lot more durable than Rowe is. And he dropped, if you guys remembered, he dropped Barberena in that fight. And, here's the thing I'm going to say. Everybody talks about, Witt has a bad chin, and he does have a bad chin. But like going back and looking at Rowe's fights, Rowe does not have a good chin himself. Like he got hurt really bad in the Koski fight. He got dropped in the Green fight. He got hurt extremely bad in the Shabazian fight. I mean, that's 3 fights in a row. This guy's been hurt against not the best opposition, and to be honest, not the biggest hitters either. Before that, yeah, he had a bunch of wins, but go back and look at this guy's ledger, dude. Like, he's got some awful wins before these 3 wins that I'm talking about. Like, you're talking about a guys that are 1-1, 0-1, 0-3, 1-2, 0-1. I mean, just bad. So I'm not going to say that, Rowe can't knock this guy out, because he definitely can knock him out. He throws hard. I just think Witt is going to have the advantage here with the wrestling, and I just think he's going to grind him and probably get him out of there in the 3rd round. And I'm willing to shake a shot at plus 1,700. What do you got here, Tajik?
Yeah, I think, in terms of the kind of wrestling, Kosi has actually, I think, better wrestling than Witt. Because he's more credentialed and accomplished wrestler, in my opinion. But I think also on the paper, I think it's the case as well. So we have already seen this scenario kind of a fight play out, right? So it's hard to bet a guy like Witt just in general. I mean, I wouldn't kind of bet him in principle, right? I think the difference here is although Rowe is susceptible, to kind of being wobbled and rocked, the recovery is there, right? So his ability to recover from the KO is something that should be also factored in when we compare the chinniness, right? So to say, right? Like, who is the chinny chin. So it's tough. I think it's tough, but I think the recovery of Rowe is there. He's good at range. I think he knows how to, take advantage of his reach, and he's getting better and better with every fight and getting more comfortable. And so I think his submission skills are also being underlooked or overlooked a little bit here. And if he gets to wobble Witt early, I think he would choose it, like the path of least resistance would be to try to submit him. And I think he has a potential to submit him, because I'm not so sure about Witt's BJJ credentials. I know I'm assuming he's a black belt, if I'm not.
He's a brown belt. I think they're both brown belts.
Brown belt, yes, but today, I was at Walmart. There was like a sale of a belt, and you could buy any belt you want, black belt, red belt, doesn't matter, right? So it's like I'm not saying that he bought it from there, right? I'm just saying that it's just hard to see where his credentials are or validate his credentials. So I'm gonna take Rowe here. I'm gonna take Rowe here by submission in round 1, and so that would be plus 1,100 over at FanDuel.
Did you guys see these guys in the weigh-ins, or not the weigh-ins? Sorry, the face-offs.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a massive. We already know
he looks 2 weight classes bigger than him. He doesn't even look 1. He legitimately looks 2 weight classes bigger than him. It's not gonna be an easy wrestle.
Kosi exerted so much energy trying to take down Rowe, and I think that's one of the things. And Witt is like a big boy. He's like this. What does he call himself?
He's definitely thicker than Rowe is. I mean, Rowe is that real thin type of tall guy. I mean, he's got a 10-inch reach advantage, which is absolutely insane. But here's the thing: that he doesn't use his reach. This guy. That's the problem I have with if this guy used his actual reach and was smart, imagine you use your reach, keeping this guy at range. It's going to be much tougher for him to get to those legs, right? He's going to have to pad 10-inch reach. I mean, it's incredible. But what's up, my boy? John Kelly's in the house. I have to shout out my guy, John.
Yeah, always great to have John. John is joining us on the Twitter Spaces as well. So I think it's incredible to see.
Awesome guy. Great DFS. Great show. Go and follow his show. Just an awesome dude. Mushroom is in the house. If you take all the glass in Gordon and Witt's chin, you can recycle it in the world's easiest breakable bottle. Oh boy.
Wow.
Liam's in the house. What's up, my man? Liam, love that play. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. I guess we're both on Witt, huh? Rowe has a bad chin, bad cardio, bad takedown defense. Neither guy's worth writing home about, but Witt at plus 140 has a clear side, in my opinion.
Yeah, you know what's also gives me confidence in not Wheat, but in Rove a little bit is that I watched Santino DeFranco's pod, and he has a good, the way he breaks down, I like his breakdowns. And he spoke about Rove, you know, how much of a, you know, underachiever he has been, and then he switched his camp, he relocated, and he has gotten leaps and bounces like better and better. So it's just a testament to the fact that he improves with every fight, and I think we're gonna see a better version of the Rove coming into this fight.
So one of my buddies, Phil, who's big into MMA, he's not much on Twitter and stuff, but he's very knowledgeable, and he loves Rowe in this spot. And we were kind of going back and forth, and I kind of said, like, if you like Rowe in this spot, take him like by knockout, because if Witt is implementing his game and getting takedowns, he's going to be the minute winner in this fight. If he's not able to get the takedowns and this stays on the feet, then Witt's getting knocked out. It's plain and simple. Like, if you're going to take Rowe, don't lay the juice. Take the KO, in my opinion. That's what I was telling him. He seems to think that he's able to win a fight by decision here. But I think if it stays standing, man, he's going to knock out Witt if it's for long periods. So Koski brothers are horrible at MMA. Witt much more experienced. He is more experienced for sure. Take that, the Vanilla Gorilla. Liam is pumped today, huh? Won't be stunned if he dies, willing to take a rest. Yeah, me too. Joey, in honor of Wheezy, can't wait to shave some asses tomorrow. That's a good one. Joseph, what's up, man? Thank you for joining us, Joseph. It's okay. It's okay. Thank you, Deset. Thank you, brother. Thank you. All right. 20 of us already in here. Let's move on to fight number 3. We have a lot of fights to break down here. Fight number 3 is Danilo Marquez going up against the Dana White's Contender Series, Jailton Almeida. I can kick this one off. For me, I have this fight going over 1.5. I took a stab at that. I have actually this fight going to decision. I took a stab at that. So with that being said, my Lambo play is going to be Almeida by decision plus 375. Yeah, I mean, you know, the much bigger, the much stronger guy. I think he has the better wrestling. I think he has, you know, the grappling edge here. The only thing I kind of question is his gas tank, his cardio, because, you know, this guy hasn't really been 3 rounds much. And, you know, looking in the Contender Series fight, he looked good in that second round. It looked like he was fine. But, again, it's a bit of a question mark. We don't have a lot of tape on this guy. I found some tape on him, but, you know, I think the guy's skilled, honestly. I heard he's like he has a background in boxing, but we didn't get to see it, I guess, in the Contender Series. But his BJJ is really, really good. And the guy is just a monster, man. So, yeah, I like him in this fight. I don't think much of Marquez, to be honest. And I think Marquez's only path is by submission, honestly, if Almeida gets tired. Tajik, what do you got?
Oh, you know, if Almeida gets tired, then it's going to be a close matchup, and I think this fight has you know, a chance to go to a decision. But the part about Jailton is that's not kind of, we tend to build our opinion about Jailton based off of 1.5 round, and I've said this before, and I think it's very important to not put much weight into this win. It was impressive. He looked like, you know, Brazilian Khabib. Okay, I get it. But I think in my opinion, Marquez can offer him a good opposition. We've seen him already. I mean, he's good for almost 2 rounds, and after that, a round and a half, and then he starts fading. But I think it could go to a split decision. I picked Marquez to win by decision here. And so if we're trying to keep things Lambo, I'm going to take Marquez by split or majority decision at DraftKings for plus 2,800.
Plus 2,800? George, what are you doing, buddy?
How it's done.
George got it only for 1,700. He beat you to it, but he only got it for 17 here.
Oh, actually, I have to give a credit to George about that as well, because we talked about it before the show, and it was part of the parlay of $1 million parlay that he has been putting. Um, but yeah, I like it. So kudos to you, George. I think this is a great contribution. I like it. The more I look about it, because my pick originally was Danilo by, if you watch my Twitter, was Danilo by decision, but I feel like a split decision is very possible here.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, goes to decision is plus 215. I think most of that is predicated on Jalton finishing. And if we're talking about like getting it on the ground, like I don't think it's going to be that easy to finish Marquez. Like if there's one thing he's good at, it's BJJ. Like his striking, I don't like at all. He just really doesn't. His game is just not that good. But he is good at BJJ. So is the sub really going to come that easy against this guy? I don't think so. Marquez money line is a Lambo eligible. Oh yeah, it is. I mean, Almeida's line is just growing and growing, and you got to be crazy to lay 450 right now. And I think highly of the guy. I think he's good, but come on, Marquez decision is leg one of my leg two Lambo parlay combined with battle decision for 41.75. Mushroom is all over it early. Tim, sorry, what do you got here?
No worries. I love your guys' breakdowns. I listen, I can't believe that this line is this wide. Like, this just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, the guy was a dog in his Contender Series fight. Like, he was a plus 150 dog in his Contender Series fight. So now you're telling me I'm not rating Danilo Marquez high at all, but he is a veteran in the UFC and he's fought in the UFC, and it just doesn't make any sense. Add on top of the fact the styles make fights, and what Jalton wants to do typically is grapple, wrestle, and use BJJ. And this is totally in the wheelhouse of Danilo. So he's going strength for strength. Can he beat him? For sure. It's absolutely possible. He's younger. He looks stronger. He's 205 pounds. He looks like he's like 5% body fat. So can he do that? Absolutely. But can he do it at minus 450? Makes no sense to me. So like Liam said, the money line, I've made 4 bets in this fight. It's disgusting. I do feel like the strategy should be for Almeida to keep the fight standing. And because Danilo's striking is just so piss poor that if you do keep him striking, you'll have multiple chances. And it's not like the striking is really bad for Almeida. So on the Almeida side, I like the combo of it's plus 420 for KO round 1, round 2. And I bet that light as my hedge, and I'm on the money line for Marquez. I'm also on the points 8-1, and I'm on the split at 28-1.
All right, I think we lost Tajik for a little here. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. The line is too wide for sure. You're absolutely correct. With that being said, I will say that I would comfortably take a Russian against Danilo Marquez. Honestly, I really would. But I mean, I see it for sure. He shouldn't be minus 450. It's ridiculous. I don't think any Dana White's Contender Series going into the UFC against a veteran should be minus 450, 500. And not even a Dana White's Contender Series. We saw it last time out with Victor Henry, right? Everybody was on. And obviously Victor Henry, much more experienced, much cleaner guy than most of these Dana White Contender Series guys. So it's a little different. I'm just saying laying these huge numbers is just tough, man. And it's probably smarter to do what Tim is doing, With that being said, we will move on. It is fight number 4. It is Alexis Davis going up against Julija Stolarenko. I probably butchered that, but Tajik, it's you.
Well, it's interesting, right? I think because to me, this type of matches are interesting because was it last week when I picked Jasmine GSP Jasidevic to win? I received all the a lot of interesting messages on my Twitter before the fight. And I think a lot of people who send those maybe regret it now, but it's okay, guys. I wish to say like I forgive you guys, but I'm not gonna say it because I don't care. But with regards to Yulia Stoliarenko, I think it's interesting matchup because Alexis is strong, Alexis is powerful. You know, the way I think most people see it is that she takes her down, controls Yulia. You know, Yulia is off her back. She's gonna be looking for arm bars. It's pretty straightforward, isn't it? but that's not how things work out. You know, it's just not. It's just to expect this kind of scenario. I think it's unlikely because even if we see Yulia's fight with Julia Avila, if you go and watch that fight, it was actually a pretty close fight. Yes, Yulia throws like haymakers, but she's strong, and so is Avila. I think Avila should be like a decent sized favorite against Alexis. And so, going by that logic, I think I like Yulia here, and I actually like her by what did I pick her at? I actually got her by majority or split decision here, and I think it was a pretty good size. It was a very interesting bet. Like I'm trying to find it. What did I got it at? Give me 1 second. Sorry. If you can find it earlier than me, then that's fine also.
Plus 1,200.
Yeah, plus 1,200 is not bad, I think, for a decision. And yeah, and maybe Alexis offers her a good opposition, but she will look more maybe beat up. It's also sometimes about the optics, right? I mean, and we've seen in Alexis, she has a tendency to like get cut, get the bruised, and so it could maybe just come down to optics. So I have Yulia Stoliarenko by split decision here at plus 1,200.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it, I guess. Tim?
What do you got? During the spaces, I was on Stoliarenko too, but I think I had a bad weight cut, and I'm going to stick with that as my reason for that. No, I do see the logic. I was on that as well. I think she could win the bigger moments because she does win huge shots up top, and she is bigger, strong. She might be stronger than Davis at this point in their career. But she's a big girl, and I like the Avila fight too. It's not like her striking could go down for her start in her career, but her striking has improved. Her offensive striking, I should say. She blocks punches with her face, but the offensive striking has gotten better. And she maybe it's a situation where she can win the moments, but I swung to the other side. I'm actually on the Davis side now. I think the most likely is points, just a boring fight, but. I think her BJJ is better than Stoliarenko's. So I do think that if the fight does get to the ground, that a submission is more live actually for the Davis side than it is for the Stoliarenko side. So I went sub for Davis at plus 500.
Yeah, honestly, like I tried to find the Lambo play on this, and I just didn't want to throw one out just to throw one out. So I really don't have one. I do have a bet on Davis by decision at plus 100. I just think she's better everywhere, man. She's the better striker. She's the better grappler. Yes, she's older. I agree with that. I agree with some of the points that Tajik made that, Stoliarenko, that last fight she lost, it was a close fight. I think she won the second round. The first, she ended up getting subbed in the third, but the one thing I will say, and why I really like the decision prop, is Stoliarenko, extremely tough girl, man. Like, I know some people said, oh, she quit like in her second fight or whatever. She like got stretchered out of the arena. But go back and watch the Yana fight. I mean, Jesus Christ, she got killed in that fight and stayed there and didn't quit at all. And so I don't think Davis is much of a finisher, to be honest. It is a huge step down for Davis. I'll say that. Like fighting the girl like Chukagian and Maya and Kinziad, even Mazo, all these girls are better than Stoliarenko. So it's a big step down for her. And I just believe like she's the minute winner. Both girls block punches with their face, but I think Davis does the punching a little better than Stoliarenko does. So yeah, for me, I don't have a Lambo play. I do have a play on Davis by decision. Moving on, fight number 5. It is Marc-Andre Barrio going up against Chidi Njokuani. What do you got here, Tim?
Ooh, I cashed last time on Barrio. I think it was the end of round 2. or is it? Yeah, I think it was the last or was it end of round 3? I had round 2 and round 3, but it was against Izatar. But he's a
that
great
was
guy to.
two fights ago. Yeah.
Okay, he's a great guy to bet in round 3. I absolutely will bet him round 3 against pretty much anybody. He's just the type of fighter that's going to pressure, and he's not great at anything, but he's going to stalk you, go forward, try to get you down, and basically do that all fight. And he's just got a granite chin. So this situation for Chitty is that he's lost 6 out of 7 of his losses are inside the distance, and he tends to like. I mean, I don't disrespect, but he tends to give up when he doesn't get his way in fights. So this is one of those situations with Barrio where I feel it's a perfect matchup for him. Just be durable in the first round, outlast him, and then kill him in the round 3 or win by decision.
Tim, I have a question here, Mike. Tim, do you find yourself to be kind of making more of a double chance bets more now? Is that your kind of, is that accurate?
Yeah, I love those plays, especially because, like, they're good hedge plays too. Like if you see one side and you're really betting hard on one side, and then you look at the other side and you say, all right, well, what are their paths? And you want to just go 10% of a hedge. It's just such an easy thing to do. A lot of times there's only 1 or 2 actual viable paths to victory for a fighter. And so it just makes it a little bit easier. How about you guys?
Fair enough. No, fair enough. I think I think it's fair. I think there was an instance where we talked and you had some hedges where, although it was going your direction, and you would take a slight hedge, and I think it makes up for a perfect kind of combination. Just it keeps it safe, and yet the reward still remains high.
Yeah, I completely agree with Tim here. I rate Chitty's striking game really good. Really good kicking game. I love his knees in the clinch, like really, really nasty knees, this dude. But I also rate Marc-Andre Barrios' durability very high. I also rank his pressure very high. I love how he pressures people and just breaks them, man. Like you watch these fights lately, and these guys are just about to break. Like even Dalcha in that 3rd round, he was almost out in that 3rd round, right? Then you go to the other fight before that, Azatar, and he got him out in the 3rd round. Like, I look at Marc-Andre Barrio, honestly, in 2 phases. The phase before he got to Sanford and the phase now that he's at Sanford. He's a completely different looking dude. Even his body is completely different. Like, he's built better. He's in better shape. His cardio even looks better now. Like, the guy has an incredible pace. He keeps coming forward. In this fight, if he's smart, he's going to use some grappling. Try to, just have Chitty think about that. You're going to grapple. You're going to shoot a little. And even that, make Chitty work. That's the main point I want here, is for him to make Chitty work to stop takedowns. That will get him more tired because he by far has the better gas tank here. And that will help him in that 3rd round, come 3rd round. And I do like that play. I played it at plus 1,800. It's now at plus 1,400.
Yeah, me too. Yep.
It's a must play. I Barrio round 3 against guys that have like suspect gas tanks, which Chitty does.
Or hard.
You just have to play it. Yeah, you have to play it. And so that's my Lambo play. It's Marc-Andre Barrio round 3 plus 1,800 is what I got, but it's 1,400 now. And I just have a bunch of bets on that, honestly. I have Barrio, by decision. I have Barrio straight up. And I have, I believe, fight goes to decision or over or whatever. So to you, Tajik, what do you got here?
Yeah, I think I like Barrio here. I think this might be maybe one of the fewer chances where we actually where Barrio is going to be a bargain, and so we may kind of if I feel like if I don't jump on his train now, then it kind of in the next fights he's going to be it's going to be hard to pick him because I think he's the market will overvalue him. But I do like him to finish in Njokuani inside the distance. I like it late. I think also. I think round 3 is definitely a possibility. 1,800 still. I think it's on FanDuel. On FanDuel, I think it's
It's 1,400 now. It was 1,800.
Oh, it got shut down. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. I actually like here. I think he may find the finish a little bit earlier than we assume, and it's probably going to be in the second round. That's my opinion, because if we see that progression, I think he will pick up the pace a little bit. You know, Njokuani is making his debut, a lot of jitters, so I think Barrio will look to make Chidi uncomfortable from the onset and put the pressure on him, and I think at some point somewhere in the second he will find the finish. So I will pick Barrio by TKO in round 2, and I think it's available at 1,600 over at FanDuel.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I could see it like him breaking him down and basically, towards the end of that second, stopping him. So I don't mind that play at all. We're all on Barrio's side here. With that being said, we'll go to the other Canadian. That makes 3 Canadians in a row. It's Hakeem Duwato going up against Mike Trizano. For me, I like the Trizano side here. Honestly, I like Duwato. I think he has good skills. I think he has good striking, but the guy just lacks volume. The guy sits around way too much, plays around too much, doesn't throw enough volume for my liking. A guy like Trizano, like this guy is, I don't even know how to describe him. Like he's not great at anything, but he's kind of good at everything. And he has like very good cardio, has very good durability. I think he's gonna do a lot more of the pressuring here. I think he's gonna even be able to grapple if he wants to later in this fight. Once Duwato starts slowing down, and honestly, like even striking, like I'm not gonna say Duato's like has a big edge here in striking, because I think Trizano has a boxing background and his boxing is pretty solid, if you ask me. So for me, my Lambo play here is gonna be Trizano by decision plus 310. Because the one thing I will say is Duwato is extremely durable, extremely tough dude. I don't think Trizano is going to stop this guy, but I do see a decision win. The other thing I want to say is even if you want to get a little crazier, Trizano by split decision is not a bad look here, guys. But we'll kick it off to Tajiki's laughing already. I have a feeling he has some kind of similar play here.
Yeah, it's a similar play. I think it can go either way, right? So I don't think you're making like a wrong bet here if you're betting either guy by a split decision. I mean, I for myself like Dawado here because I think that his stand up is crisp. I like his boxing just a little bit better. Um, and Trizano is great too, but I think in his last matchup, I don't know. It's tough for me. I like Dawado still, just based on the fact that it's gonna be like a striking battle, and I think his technique is sharper. So I'm gonna pick him, and I'm gonna pick him by split decision. Yeah, split
6 to 1.
decision. Yeah, I like it. Plus 600 on DraftKings, I think is a good play. But again, I don't blame you if you chose this the other way around. So which is what probably Tim did, I'm assuming.
Absolutely.
All right,
Yeah.
Tim, what did you do? Tell us.
Yeah, no, hey, Tajik, I have a question. I know where Mike stands on this, and I agree with him. I've been hearing like the other side from a bunch of people I respect on the volume side of like, who do you think has the better volume in this fight?
That's a great question. I don't know what the stat will say, but I think it has to be pretty close. It has to be pretty close, in my opinion. I don't see. Did you want to say something, Mike? Go.
Yeah, I think it's clearly Trizano overall volume for sure.
I mean, we can look at the UFC stats at where it stands, but I feel like honestly, my first impression is that it's about close. But to me, I think what matters here is not so. I think maybe people are thinking here that maybe Trizano is going to put the volume on Dawado, but it's very hard, against Dawado. Actually, strikes landed, Dawado has an advantage here. Like we're seeing 4.72 strikes, almost 5 full strikes, and he outpaces by 1.5 strike. He outpaces Trizano. So it's. I didn't think it would be that wide of a margin. It surprises me a little bit if you ask me. But then see, like it's on the paper. So I think it's very hard. I think Dawodu has also tendency to suppress opponents' volume, just in general with the way he fights. You know, he's a pressure fighter, and people are a little bit scared of him. Like if you look at it, you know, and he scares you away too. He would flex, and he's like, "Come on, come on!" Like, you know, it's tough. But I think, yeah, if it's on the paper, then he's a more volume. That's even better. It's even strengthens the argument of picking Dawodu side here.
But I will say, as the level of opposition has gotten better, his volume has decreased. I mean, go back and look. Like his volume was good early in his UFC career, has toned down as of late. Like going up against Arce, obviously much better guys than Arce is a much better striker than Troiano is.
Right, which is why my assumption is that kind of my kind of initial thought was that if we take away those kind of first matchups, like early matchups from Dawodu here, then we're probably looking at about similar output here. That's why I'm kind of a little bit surprised that Dawodu has a higher output here, but maybe it is, and quite possibly it stems off of the fact that in his early outings he had to significantly outvolume his opponent. So yeah, close matchup, split decision either way. I heard a lot of people on the Troiano side. I don't know. I think it's tough. Yeah.
George hit it right there, man. That stat says it all. I mean, these guys have had 5 splits since 2018. They fight close fights every single time, and they're not the type of fighters where they all have a huge grappling edge. The fight's most likely going to stay standing. I'm on. I did actually bet the 12-1 split decision for Troiano, and then I hedged 10% on the 6-1 on both sides. So I'm expecting a split decision.
You know, it's interesting here because I look at it right now with the split decision, and I mean, if somebody gets a knockdown, like let's say Hakeem gets a knockdown in the first, and then Troiano somehow bounces back, I think this comment actually, George's comment, brings me closer to.
Guys, hold your horses.
To use this D letter, but D word. But yeah,
does it end with a W?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Draw, baby.
Is usually in the 5,000s?
Why not draw? We'll talk about a Joe offline. I'm intrigued actually by this.
Well, since you're intrigued, I'll give you the odds. It's plus 5,000, just in case.
That's a big surprise for me.
All right. I think we broke that fight down pretty good. We got some on the Troiano side and a couple on the opposite side. But with that being said, we will move on. Fight number 7. It is Miles Johns going up against John Castaneda. Go ahead, Tajik. It's your turn, buddy.
Yeah, I'm traditionally kind of not that high. I'm generally not that high on Miles Johns, not from the fighting perspective, just don't get me wrong. I think just from the betting perspective, it's very hard to assume that he's going to kind of fight for your money. He fights for himself, right? He fights to win. But what I don't like in the Johns fights is that his volume is pretty low. And he seeks to kind of put his opponents away, and it's just a little bit hard with Castaneda. I think Castaneda is a pretty technical striker, and it would be, if Miles just shows this low volume, and he might not get the respect from Castaneda he expects. Plus, Jones, if he finishes late. I just don't see how, Castaneda is not the side here. That's why I picked him by decision here. Just not split, not unanimous. Castaneda by decision is actually plus 350, which I think is surprising. I think it's a bargain, and it's a Lambo bet.
All right, Tim, what do you got here?
Same bet. Same exact thing. Not going split.
That's it. No nuggets, nothing, huh?
Nothing at all. I mean, honestly, yeah, it's really tough to rate. I just have no idea on Miles Johns. I don't know. I don't know if he's good. Don't know if he's bad.
I'll give you guys an idea. Miles Johns doesn't like pressure fighters. He's the type of guy that circles around the cage. if you pressure him, and he's going to just allow you. And then when you try to engage him when he's on the fence, he's going to shell up, because that's what he does all the time on the cage. So, what I saw from Castaneda last fight was kind of concerning against Wineland, because Wineland was winning the first 3 minutes, 4 minutes. But when you go back and watch Castaneda's tape, Castaneda never goes back in his fights. He's always the one pressuring, going forward. But in that Wineland fight, he's going back, and I have no idea why. And it wasn't working, obviously, because he looked like shit. Then when he decided to go forward and throw the barrage, he knocks out Wineland, right? It made no sense to me. I don't know why he fought like that in that fight. But if you historically look at his tape, he's a pressure fighter. He's the fighter always moving forward. Even in the Nathaniel Wood fight, right, on short notice, he was the one pressuring. He was the one moving forward. So it was kind of weird to see him on his back foot there. But in this fight, I don't see Johns putting this guy in the back foot. What I will say is Johns does have power in his hands. Honestly, in his last fight against who did he fight that he knocked out? Dos Santos. Honestly, that's not an impressive win to me, because Dos Santos was fighting on one leg 2 minutes into the fight, and it took him almost 3 rounds to take the guy out. Dude, what are you doing? He was kind of getting scared that what's coming back at him, and he was just I don't know what he was doing, but the guy was fighting with one leg. It doesn't impress me that you knock the guy out eventually in the 3rd round. The guy can't move. The guy couldn't fucking move, and Miles Johns eventually got him out of there. But even in the Natividad fight, he didn't look good in that 3rd round before getting that uppercut. But for me, I like Castaneda also by decision plus 350. But I also threw a poke on Castaneda round 3 plus 1900. And the main reason is the pressure and the cardio. Again, the cardio is going to favor Castaneda. He's going to be the guy pressuring, I believe, here. And I just seen John slow down a lot in the 3rd round. And if he does, Castaneda is the type of guy that will swarm you when he sees blood in the water. So, I took a stab at Castaneda round 3 plus 1900. And I also have a bet on Castaneda by decision plus 350.
What do you guys think on there's kind of contradicting data. I agree that the gas tank on Miles Johns is actually quite suspect, but he has 2 finishes in the 3rd round, right? And is it the fact that he knows that he's kind of down in the fight, and he's got to go for the kill, or does he actually just have that much power in his hands that, you know what I'm saying? Because it's rare that you see somebody that
do you rate the finish? Last finish, I don't rate it at all. Dos Santos could not move, could not pressure him, could really not do anything, right? He couldn't even grapple. He's fighting on one leg. So basically Johns did what he wanted to do after that 1st round. He could move wherever he wanted, wasn't going to get pressured. Kind of Dos Santos was waiting for him in the middle of the rings. Come on. He kept yelling at him because he couldn't really move. So for me, that 3rd rounder's not Natividad 3rd round. I mean, yeah, he got him out of there, but he still looked tired.
He cheated too. He grabbed the glove.
I mean, yeah, he grabbed the, but whatever. But
it's called the veteran move.
Yeah, I just
not
watching.
Cheating, you're not trying.
Watching the Cole Smith fight, he was dead tired, right? A couple of the other ones, he was tired. I don't know how he beat Yanez, this guy on the regional scene, but he did in a split decision.
Yeah, super close. He wrestled a ton, and he'll have a wrestling advantage here. He seems to not wrestle. Actually, Jonas Shipman said this on their pod. He seems to not wrestle. I agree, because he knows that his gas tank is suspect, and so he knows that for Miles Johns, he's got wrestling in his pedigree. He should use it more often, and he typically doesn't. And I think it's because I agree with Jonah in that situation that he's afraid that he might gas himself out. Well,
he's the better wrestler here, but I just I don't know if people know Castaneda is a Division III wrestler too. He's wrestled at Mankato, so the guy wrestled in college. He has a wrestling background, John Castaneda. So he's not some slouch that you could just take down easily or whatever. The guy has a wrestling background himself. He wrestled in college. So to me, Miles Johns, another reason is exactly what you said. I think he doesn't wrestle because he knows he gasses. But that's the thing. If Castaneda uses wrestling and uses the pressure, he's going to gas. I think he's going to gas him out.
Yeah.
But
I think it's also kind of, Tim, to answer your question, Like these last two finishes, 3-round finishes, I think it's also the quality of opposition here, right?
Right.
Yeah, because I think, in my opinion, that's mainly what it is. I mean, with Dos Santos, he was literally playing with his food, right? Like he had so much control. So part of it, I think, is maybe not. I think a substantial part of it is just that he feels comfortable, against this opposition.
All right, we got narrative George in the house. He's got a narrative for us. Miles was wearing glasses at the weigh-ins, apparently first time ever. So he had a bad weight cut, or he thinks he's the next Figgy. Which one do you think, Tajik? Bad weight cut, or he's the next Figgy?
Yeah, I'm not the. I'm not. Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough question because it's. So is it a bad weight cut or he's the next Figgy? I think it's both. Yeah, so that would be my answer. Because which Figgy, right? I mean, is it a barber Figgy or a real Figgy? Like, right? Like, I think it's also important. He talks about the barber Figgy, or which one? You're on mute, Mike.
I said it's George, so who knows?
Yeah. So I guess we'll find out. But yeah, but yeah, I think that's what I wanted to say about Miles, though. Like it's narratives aside, it's just that I think Castaneda is a fighter to watch. I think we have to take him seriously now.
That's such a great. I love your guys' answers because I totally agree with that. And then I think that it's easy for people that wikicap stuff and go, okay, Miles Johnson's got 3 finishes in round 3 or 2 finishes in round 3 recently. And it's like, and he's, he can obviously put it on people. And it's like, if you don't really look at the context of the fight and tape fights, you're not going to see, like you're saying, that these guys are just dead and they're the level of opposition is so low that anybody could have done it. So I totally agree.
Yeah. So we'll move on. Fight number 8, it's Julian Juicy J. Arosa going up against Steven Peterson. I think it's you, Tim. What do you got here?
First of all, Steven Peterson weighed in at 149. That is huge. It's a 4 pound. That's just huge. It's also going to help out my prop. I think that my pick would be is not what I've actually made a bet. So I don't understand the line on the KO prop for Peterson. I got it at plus 950. Just historically, Erosa is pretty chinny. He's been knocked out, I think, 5 or 6 times. And, spinning back fist for Peterson. He does throw some heavy stuff. He does, he's not a huge puncher, but he throws flashy spinning things, which might hit. So I think plus 950 is a good shot. How about you guys?
Yeah, so for me, I took a couple of plays. My regular play, I have Peterson by KO at plus 950. Because not that I think, Peterson's some big hitter. It's just Arosa just always puts himself in these wildfire fights, puts himself where, the guy's lost a lot of times by KO. The guy is, I don't even want to call him chinny. He's just kind of wild, and he leaves himself open to get hit, right? And by that, when you're throwing wild punches and you're getting hit by punches that you're probably not seeing, those are the ones that are going to KO you. So, the way Arosa fights is just erratic, wild. He's looking to KO you. So with that being said, like you're getting Peterson plus 950 against a guy that we know is chinny, that's been, outside of the fact that he's been knocked out so many times, he's probably been dropped and fucking hurt probably in a lot more other fights that, so. But with that being said, I do like the 950. I did play it, but I also kind of like Arosa round 3 here, plus 1,000 because, Arosa has good cardio. Arosa keeps on coming. I know Steven Peterson is very, very durable. Guys, hasn't been stopped since like his, 9-10 years ago or something. But I just feel like it's still live here in a 3rd round based on one. I think he has the better cardio in Julian Arosa. 2, I also think this weight cut, him being 149 might not be the worst thing. But the other question is, how much did he actually train, or how much did he, we don't know. So, Julian Arosa has a ton of 3rd round finishes. So I just took a shot at plus 1,000. I don't think it's the worst bet. And I do like Peterson by KO at a plus 950. Tajik, you got something special here?
Um, well, I think I like Peterson here. I picked him by decision here, so I'll keep it short. I think the fact that he missed the weight is good for me. So I don't know. I don't think it's good for Rosa. But I think if he tries to take him down and maybe hold down the Rosa, off his back, Rosa is not that dangerous. So if he tries to mix up wrestling a little bit here at plus 500, I think by decision Peterson is a good Lambo play here.
Yeah. The other thing I want to mention is, guys, do not lay minus, a huge number on someone like Arosa, please. Like -3. I can't believe he's minus 330. Julian Arosa is minus 330 versus a living body. Like he should never ever be this big of a favorite because the guy is very, very suspect to getting KO'd. He just is. And that's just how he fights. He's kill or be killed, and he's been killed plenty of times. So John has a stat for us. He says Arosa's been knocked down in 7 of his 10 UFC fights. I mean, that's what I said, right? He's been KO'd a lot, but he's probably been hurt a ton too. So I fully believe he's been hurt a ton because the guy's chin is not very good, and that's part of his style. Like he's just wild. So yeah, I mean, I see the Peterson side, and I like it. Moving on. Fight number 9, it is Brian Battle going up against Tresean Gore. It's 2 Dana White's Contender Series alums. My favorite show to tape. I taped both these guys a ton. I see a lot of mixed results here. I see a lot of people on Gore. I see a lot of people on Battle. For me, I'm taking Battle by decision plus 360. And my reasoning is he's got the better cardio. He's got the grappling. I will say Gore has good striking, good footwork. He listens very well to his corner. Like he's kind of like processing when they're telling him, like you watch the Dana White's Contender Series, everything they're telling him, he's processing and he's doing it. Like they're like, relax your shoulders when you're throwing. And you could see him like his shoulders come down and he's kind of more relaxed. And he's like listening to his corner. So obviously he is cerebral. He's taking instruction well, even in the fight. But the guy only has 3 fights, 3 damn fights. And this guy now is minus, what is it at now? I guess it's come down a little. It's minus 145 in spots. He's still minus 162 on FanDuel. I just think if the later this fight goes, the more it's going to favor Brian Battle. I think Battle is going to have to kind of maybe survive early because what happened in that Urbina fight is kind of concerning. Like Urbina absolutely tattooing this guy for a while in that fight up until Urbina was completely gassed. So I don't think Gore is like the gassy type because doesn't really get crazy. He's kind of more calm, even if he's like going to hurt you. He just doesn't look like that type of guy. He doesn't fight like that. But the other part that's concerning about Gore is, early on in his career, he did not look great. I know he's improved. I know he's only 3-0, but like fight against Ellerby was like strike for strike, split decision. The fight against LJ Jones was on top of him, absolutely bashing him with elbows. When the first round was done, he stands up and he has a broken ankle. It's like, what the heck happened here? So I do like Tresean Gore. I like his striking, but I think this is like a little too early. I just think you're going to have to favor the durability, the grappling edge, and the cardio edge that is all on Battle side. So I'm going to take Battle by decision plus 360. What do you got, Tajik?
Yeah, I think if Battle survives the early storm, he can submit Gore here, and I'm gonna pick him by submission here in a round 2 over at FanDuel at 16 plus 1600.
Yep, the thing I always say. What are they, Tajik? The 3 things in life:
death, taxes, and Lambo plays.
No, and Tajik's yacht plays. They're not Lambo anymore. But Tim, what do you got?
Yeah, I love your guys' takes. I actually, I think this is a good live betting spot if you're on, if you're on the battle side. I don't, you know, I was contemplating playing the money line, and I'm like, nah, just wait after round one. It'll be better. And if it's not, it's not, and then I'll miss that opportunity. But I agree that he's got a cardio edge. I agree he's got a durability edge. I agree he's got the grappling edge. So for me, that's like an archetype of bets that I want to make constantly. If you give me a dog money on that too, okay. I'm surprised I haven't bet the money line, but like I said, I want to kind of see if he can. That Urbina first round was, like you said, just really ugly. So I don't want to see make the money line bet and have him get starched in the first round, which seems to be the path for Gore if he does win. I can see I'm actually on the exact same bet as Tajik except for the different round. I like round 3 at plus 1,400, and I like the sub round 3 at plus 2,100 for battle.
Yeah, I mean, I can see he has he has the grappling edge, he has the cardio edge, he has the experience. Excuse me. So yeah, I totally see it. I see the late round props. I just think Gore's a little, he is pretty durable from what I saw on tape. But again, it's only a few fights, so yeah, he's gonna get tested here. Fight number 10. It is Smiling Sam Alvey going up against Brandon Allen. This is off to you, Tajik. What do you got?
Okay. I think that it's a good matchup for Allen to come back and showcase his skill, especially against the guy who has like a just one hook in his arsenal, and that's about it. But I think he's probably his second biggest asset is probably his smile, right? Like, I don't know, he's like, you hit him, he smiles. Like, it's strange, right? Like, it's an awkward dynamic. I mean, you're supposed to feel angry, but he doesn't, right? He's supposed to, but he doesn't. So yeah, I think it's also part of the game, right? Just to show that he's comfortable. But I like Allen here. I think, of course, that last fight was a blemish, and it was tough to watch. But I like Allen as a fighter. I think he's going to mature. He's going to get better. He's going to get wiser after that last defeat. And I think that last fight was a little bit personal for him, and there was a lot of talking, and I think he should focus on the fight itself. And I think with Alvey, he's going to get this opportunity. And I think he will also get this one by submission. So I like him. Allen by submission in round 1, and I think I need to check the odds here. Sorry, I'm not sure what they were, but the odds were pretty good. Yeah, not sure why it's not popping out.
Submission 1 for
Allen.
Allen?
Yeah, it should be. It's plus 650.
Plus 400.
You can get 750
for which one?
Allen sub round 1 is 750.
Okay.
Yeah,
on Bet Online.
I like it.
Tim, what do you have over here?
Yeah, I'm going to use one of the combos that I was talking about earlier on FanDuel for this one. I like the sub prop too. I don't see many Lambos in this other than the sub prop for Allen. Sub 1-2 is plus 360, and I think that's more likely than the sub 2-3. But sub 2-3, if you're interested, is plus 600. But I'd be on the sub 1-2 at plus 360.
Yeah, I got a little bit of a different take. I like Allen's game overall. Like, I know a lot of people shit on this guy. They call him chinny. They call him whatever they want to call him. I think his overall game is really good. He does tend to get hit a lot. That's the problem I have with this guy. You watch, the Soriano fight. Soriano landed some bombs on him, and he took him like nothing. Never got rocked in that fight, and we know Soriano hits very hard. He, however, did get knocked out in his last fight against Chris Curtis. I think he kind of got a little too confident or whatever in the pocket, and then Curtis, I believe, landed the uppercut and hurt him really bad. But going back and people, I've watched a lot of stuff, and people are talking about how, Sam Alvey is durable. Sam Alvey's this, but, Sam Alvey's also 35 years old. Sam Alvey's also 50 fights into his career. Sam Alvey has been hurt really bad in his last 3 fights. In his last fight against Turman, got hurt really bad towards the end. In his fight against Marquez, got dropped very bad against Julian Marquez, who's not really known as a striker, and then he chokes him out. Then you go before that, Da Un Jung hurt him extremely bad in that fight. And basically what I'm trying to say is the guy's chin is going, man. Like, I honestly believe his chin is spiraling downwards. And, Jimmy Crute knocked this guy out with 1 punch. Like, this guy, he's been hurt a lot lately. And Allen can kick, has a good kicking game, good high kick. And I think Allen is going to throw the much more volume here. And I think he's going to take the much faster guy. I mean, you name it. The younger guy, the much faster guy, he can grapple. He can ground and pound this guy. I don't think he's going to have much success holding down Alvey or trying to get him down because he has really good takedown defense. So I think that his fight to win here is just standing, and he's a much faster guy. He's got the better arsenal in his striking. Like Tajik said, all this guy has is a fucking hook, and that's it. So give me Allen by KO at plus 300. I don't want to hear the bullshit about Allen can't knock this guy out. Come Saturday, Allen is going to knock this guy out. Moving on, it is fight number 11. I'm really pumped up for this fight. It is Shavkat Rakhmonov going up against Carlston Harris. What do you got here, Tim?
This is the best fight. I'm so excited for this fight. I've got Harris. I bet Harris money line. I think the line is a little bit wide. I have tons of respect for Shavkat, but I think there are situations in the Cowboy Oliveira fight that were red flags. If he's in this exact scenario, I feel that Harris gets a trip or gets him down in that scenario where he was clinched on the cage. I think the split decision and the points, I know a lot of people are thinking that this fight's going to be finished. I actually tend to think the opposite. I would go the overs, and I would tend to think I'm going to go with points for Carlston Harris at 7-1 and say split decision at 25-1 for Harris.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really pumped up for this fight myself. I think highly of Rakhmonov. I think he has very good striking. I think he has good grappling, good wrestling, very good trips. Guy's just good overall. Very good ground and pound. I mean, his right hand is a piston on top, man. Like, he knocked so many people out with the ground and pound with his right hand. So, guy's extremely dangerous on the ground. Good stand-up. His step and knee is absolutely money. It's like, always use it. Every fight, multiple times, step and knee, always lands. He times it perfectly. The guy is just a good overall fighter. And on Harris's side, I also like what I've seen from Harris. Like, he's looked good. Gets a little wild when he's striking, like puts himself out of position. But he has good grappling, has good submission game. The Darce, the Anaconda, like that headlock series, it's really, really good from him. I like what I see there. The one thing I will say is Carlston Harris has a very, very big right hand, and it's loopy, and it's not the cleanest thing. But going back and watching Rakhmonov's fight against Odolayev, it was back like maybe 6 fights ago. Sorry, Faradin Odolayev, right? He wins in the 3rd round. But if anybody taped that fight and watched what happened to him in the 2nd round, he absolutely got knocked out cold. He was out, and he got, I don't know what happened. He hit his head, and he like woke up, and Odolayev was on top of him, just pounding him, and then the bell rang. The bell saved him. So basically what I'm saying is, if Carlston Harris lands the right hand, the wild right hand that he throws, just like that Odolayev guy did, I think Carlston Harris can put this guy out. Like, this guy is not like some, like you haven't seen him hurt or anything. Like, he has a granite chin. No, I saw him literally get knocked out in that fight and wake up after he bounced off the floor. So for me, Harris by KO is plus 900. It's a huge number. I know everybody thinks Harris can win by submission, But I'm telling you guys right now, he can win by KO. He hits very hard, and I've seen Rakhmonov just get put out by a right hand, a wild right hand, that is. So if anybody wants to go watch that fight, go watch it, and you'll see him get put out with a right hand. So yeah, for me, that's the Lambo play. It's Harris by KO plus 900. What do you have here, Tajik?
I'm on the Rakhmonov side here, and I think he will. It's going to be an easier fight for him than we anticipate here, just because I think his boxing is crisper. So I think he will find the finish. And the bet I have here is Rakhmonov by KO or TKO in round 2 at plus 1,000.
I got a question for you. Can you answer it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Do you have a little bit of bias because he's from that region that you're from?
No.
Oh, okay. I put him on the spot.
I have a question. Mike and I were talking about this, and we were on different sides. Who do you favor? I agree that the striking is edge is definitely with Shavkat. Who do you think has the grappling edge, though?
It's a good question because I think defensively for Shavkat, if Carlton takes him down, he's going to be in a lot of trouble because we've seen Shavkat in the dominant positions, but we haven't seen him off of his back. And I think if he goes off of his back, he's going to struggle. So that's my suspicion. But if he gets on top of Carlton, I think he's just a very big boy, and I think he's going to dominate him. I just don't think he will choose this path because it could go into this kind of scrambling and a lot of exchanges on the ground. And I think Carlston there is more dangerous. I think with Rakhmonov, I think he sees probably striking being a better boxer. I think he will pick Carlton apart and eventually will stop him. So yeah,
he uses his range very well.
Yeah,
and he's got very good takedown defense. Like even guys that have gotten deep on him, like somehow he puts the underhook or overhook on one, underhook on the other, and like when they're trying to take him down, he ends up on top. I saw it a lot of times on tape. So he's really good at manipulating like those, when people get those body locks on him, like they just can't take him down, and he ends up on top a lot of the time. So obviously maybe it's lesser opposition, but again, he's fought good opposition. Like you go back and look at this guy who he's beat. Like he beat the Iron Turtle, back in the day. These guys that he beat in M1 are not like slouches. So, like they're good guys, and Prazeres is obviously over the hill now, and he is USADA and everything, but he's still a veteran of the game, and so is Oliveira, and he stopped both guys. So he hasn't really had any problems with grapplers because Prazeres did try to grapple. You just couldn't do it.
Harris reminds me a lot of, like, his takedown offense reminds me a lot of Jack Hermansson's. Like they just need a clinch and they need a body lock. They're not going to typically get a double leg or shoot for a low single leg to get people down. And they're not successful doing it that way usually. And usually if they get the clinch or they get a body lock, you're usually going down. So,
yeah, I mean, he hasn't really beat the best opposition. I would say, honestly, the guy that he beat in, was it M1? No, it was at UAE Warriors, is probably better than the 2 UFC wins that he has. I don't know if you guys know, it's Saiged Isgagamev.
Yes,
he's definitely better than the 2 wins that he had in the UFC. So I'm more impressed with that win than the 2 UFC wins. I'll say that. But I also do want to mention the fact that he struggled with Christian Aguilera is kind of like a red flag, right? He was having trouble trying to get Christian Aguilera down. Like if he's having trouble getting Christian Aguilera down, he's going to have a lot more trouble against Rakhmonov, who's got way better wrestling than Aguilera, and I just think he's a bigger boy. He's stronger. So it's not going to be easy to get that guy down. We all had our takes on this, right? Did you? Yeah?
yes.
Everybody had a take. Yeah, okay, cool. We'll move on to the co-main event. It is Punahele Soriano going up against Nick Maximov. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I don't really have a Lambo plea here. I have a Toyota Corolla or electric scooter. You can call it what you want to call it. It is Soriano KO round one. It's shallow. It's plus 280. It's happening. Maximov is going to get his lights put out. He's going to try to get takedowns. He's not going to be able to get them. And he's going to get knocked the hell out. That's all I have to say because, people are shitting on Soriano after, losing to, a guy like Brandon Allen, who's much, much more experienced, has, a wide arsenal with takedowns, with striking, with a kicking game. What the heck does Maximov have other than wrestling? And even his wrestling is not even that good. I mean, to me, I think he's going to easily stuff these takedowns like he did to Dusko, and then he's going to light him up. So for me, it's round one KO plus 280. It's kind of shallow, but I have Punahele Soriano inside the distance at plus 110. I really like that play. I think he's going to knock this guy out. What do you have here, Tajik?
I think Maximov will try to wrestle early, but he's not going to be probably successful. Maybe gas himself out in the first, and then Puna will stop him in the second. So I have Puna by TKO in the second round at plus 650.
I like it. We're on the Puna side. What do you got, Tim?
Yeah, I'm on yours. I'm on KO round one. I think Puna's got a background in wrestling. He's a high school state champ. He wrestled in college, and he's got a judo background too. So I think he's had one attempt at takedowns against him in his fights in the UFC, but it's still, I think he's actually good defensively on the takedown defense. So I think it's gonna be really tough for Maximov to get him down. And I also think that the striking edge is just so 90-10. It's just not even close. So I agree with you. He's gonna hit him with the left hand, and he's gonna go out.
Yeah, so we're all on the Puna side. I like it. Hopefully he knocks this guy out in the first.
I'll probably combo with a round though, like at FanDuel. I'll probably do the 1-2 just in case. It's one of those good
okay. So we'll take the 1-2. Let Tashik get the winner too.
Yeah.
Moving on, before we move on, I have to say something. Guys, thank you for everybody for being in chat. I appreciate it. Can you please do me a favor? Hit the like. Hit the subscribe, tell your friends, tell your mothers, tell your fathers. And this is the Lambo Plays podcast. If they want to get a Lambo, they have to be here watching so they can go to that dealership tomorrow after the fights. Well, they can't go after the fights on Monday because the dealerships close on Sunday so they can get that Lambo. So yeah, please hit the like, please subscribe. I appreciate it. Please tell your friends, family about my channel. I have about 411 subscribers. I want to get to at least 500, please. Thank you very much, everybody. With that being said, we will move on to the main event. It is Jack the Joker Hermansson going up against Sean Strickland. Tajik, kick us off here.
Well, I'm on the Hermansson side, and I've said this before. I know that perhaps it's going to be hard to take Sean Strickland down, but I don't think Strickland has faced an opponent like Hermansson, because Hermansson is truly world class, and he can strike, although not as good as Sean, but he can also wrestle and grapple, and I think he's just more complete fighter in my opinion. It's just hard to be doing well in the UFC unless you're like Israel Adesanya, when you're like defenses, you have a like wrestling defense, and then your striking is just so superior, right? Like your stand-up. I think he's more to me as an exception, so that's why I feel like Jack is more complete here, in my opinion. And he can clinch, he can try to box, he can try Sean make him uncomfortable and put the pressure like he did with Edmond Shabazin. So and I think he can succeed. So I like Hermansson here. My official play here is Hermansson by decision, but I can also see from the Lambo perspective is I like the double chance here with Hermansson inside the distance in round 3 and 4. I think it's over at Unibet, and I think it's an interesting play. And again, like, pardon me, like, I'm trying to switch between the screens, and for some reason, I cannot. I'm trying to locate that bet, but I think it's an interesting angle. Yeah, so if you guys can see this odds,
What is it? 3 and 4 for submission, or
it,
just 3 and 4?
just 3
It's
and 4. Yeah,
plus 1100.
yeah, I think it's a good play here. Plus 1100, I think, is a good play, and I think if he just, I know what we saw, and we can say, oh, with Edman he didn't stop Shabazian, but I think Strickland can get frustrated being controlled by Hermansson here, so that's why I think it's a around 3 and 4 inside the distance is a good play.
I like it. I like it. Tim, what do you got?
I'm on the other side on this one. I'm on Sean. I feel like his takedown defense is pretty awesome. I don't like the fact it's in the smaller cage. I think it'll be a little bit easier for Jack to maybe get close on him. I think the striking is humongous edge for Strickland. I'd like Jack's striking in general. I don't think he's a poor striker, but I just think Sean's just on a completely other level with it. I tend to think I've got actually a couple bets. I've got a bet on the round 4, round 5 decision, but it's at only plus 30 or plus 130. I'm also on the Strickland points at plus 190. And I like the round. My Lambo play, though, would be the round 4, round 5 KO at plus 1100 on FanDuel.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you, Tim. I just think, Hermansson might be able to get takedowns here, but Strickland's going to make him work. I think Strickland's he has a good get up game. He's not going to just sit there. He's got good takedown defense, and on the ground, I give the edge for sure to Hermansson. Not by a mile, I'll say that, but on the feet, I give the edge to Strickland by a mile, and that's my problem here. Is I think if he keeps it upright, which I think he will be able to, I just think he's gonna, absolutely piece up Hermansson, kind of similar to what we saw in the Vettori fight, right? Vettori was able to chuck off a lot of the takedowns, and then Vettori, who doesn't have nowhere near striking as Strickland does, was piecing him up on the feet and basically busting him up. But I think in this case, I think Strickland is so much better on the feet. I think he ends up stopping him late. I do have Strickland by KO at plus 240. But I do like the round 4, round 5 prop that Tim talked about at plus 1100. I just think the later this fight goes, with all the punishment that Hermansson's going to take, I think eventually he's going to be able to stop him late. But I also do see Tajik's side where, if Hermansson is to implement his wrestling game and, for whatever reason, he can't get up, Strickland can't get up from bottom, Hermansson has nasty ground and pound. I will say that. So like, it's not out of the realm where he gives him some nice ground and pound on the ground and maybe eventually stops him even with that later on. So I could see both sides. I just think I like the Strickland side a little better here. But I'm not willing to play the money line, honestly. With that being said, Mushroom is asking us, as usual, can the panel please do a Lambo plays parlay? We will kick it off to Tim because he loves these things.
Oh,
go ahead, Tim.
Look at I looked at this one, and I swear I'm excited about this one because I actually think that this is live minus maybe one outcome. I've got Bonder by KO, Rowe by KO, Almeida by KO, Davis by points, and Barrio by points, and it's 254 to 1.
Sounds really enticing. Tajik, do you got anything, or should I say mine?
No, you go ahead, because mine is Mushroom. I posted mine on Twitter, so it's there. It's now going around, so I think you will see you will see there's a lot of interesting discussion there. If you go on the Twitter, it's there.
Mine is going to be called the Lambo decision parlay, and it's going to be Troiano by decision plus 310, Castaneda by decision plus 350, Battle by decision plus 360, and Almeida by decision plus 375. That will give you 317 to 1, guys. So there you go. It's a decision money line Lambo parlay. So that's it. With that being said, I just want to thank my two guests, Tim and my co-host Tajik. Thank you very much for being on with me. I will give the floor to you, Tajik. Tell them where they can find you. Tell them where they can't unfollow you and all the other good stuff.
Twitter, guys. Twitter at Tajikbay. I'm open to DMs. And if you'd like to chat about MMA anytime.
Great. And he does a lot of Twitter spaces, guys. If you're into that, Tim is in there. It's really easy. It's outgoing. People in the chat there, they just come up, they talk, and just freely talk about narratives. If George is still in the chat, he's always up there telling you about narratives. So if you want to hear a lot of good narratives, go in those Twitter spaces. George's got you. With that being said, Tim, tell them where they can find you and what you have going.
Same thing on Twitter at Timothy_Troiano. And tomorrow we'll be doing a spaces at 1:30 Central Standard Time to get ready for the card, get everybody pumped.
Awesome. For me, please, it's at Narco Cop on Twitter. Follow me there. Obviously, you're in my channel, Narco Cop MMA. I also am on the show tomorrow with DFS by the Numbers. It is the best bet show. I am there every Saturday, 1 hour before the card starts. So tomorrow it's going to be at 12 o'clock Central Standard Time. Yeah, that's about it. Oh, George is in the chat. Narrative Nation, baby. I like it, George. He's still out there. Thank you to everybody. Thanks for everybody being in chat. Like always, without you guys, this channel wouldn't be here. And thank you again to my two guests here. They're always great. And the one last thing, please, let's cash some bets tomorrow, boys. Have a good night.